And what's up, everybody? Coming to you live from my parents' house. We got episode 13 of the Changavi Aftershow coming to you live from the childhood bedroom, from the floor of Studio One, direct and ready to go. Hope y'all are doing well. Again, Aftershow vibes. So, got to have the lights on, got to have the ring light on, be on the floor. Gonna talk to you guys just casually, have casual conversation. Maybe might go off the rails. I don't know yet. That will be for time to tell. But again, hope I bet you all are doing amazing. Because the Chang Gang is here and ready to listen to me just ramble on for 40 minutes or however long this goes. But yeah, after show. And we got a lot of interesting topics to get into today. Just a lot of various things that honestly I've been thinking about the last week. They range from slightly emotional to very whack and off the rails. And I fully intend on not educating, because this show isn't meant to educate, but I fully intend on what was that? What the fuck was that? I just had like a anxious gulp of air. Wow, that was weird. But I fully intend on just like shooting the shit, talking with you guys, having fun, because this is what we do on the show. Who else gets to sit on their bedroom floor on Monday night and rant to the world about what is going on in their lives? Me. I get to do it. So let's do it. Because, ladies and gentlemen, listen, 2 years ago was. Do you know where we were 2 years ago? This is kind of crazy. Do you know where we were in March of 2020? I'm sure all of you do. Yeah, COVID had just become a thing in March of 2020. And this was like March 14th, which is today, was around the point when like everything was really starting to shut down. So I'm talking schools, work, most work was going work from home. Pretty much everything that you could possibly think of was sort of shifting online. In whatever capacity that you were involved in, you were definitely affected by COVID in some way, shape, or form. It was definitely affecting your place of business, or not even your place of business, but where you go to school, whatever. For me, I was in college 2 years ago. I've told this story trillions of times. What the fuck is wrong with me? I've told this story trillions of times, but I'm not going to tell it again, because I think that's pointless, and I can link you to the 500 times that I've milked my COVID story for content. So we're not going to do that. But honestly, I feel like this is the time of year, I feel every year, that I'm just going to wonder, like, what if the pandemic hadn't happened? Like, it's just that crazy what if question of like, how would have relationships developed? How would my place in society be different? How would my place in society potentially be different? Would I, or like the same? Would I be here today in March of 2022 talking from the floor? I don't know. The thing is, I have no idea about any of that, which is the craziest part. And I don't think anybody can answer that question. And it's one of those times of the year that I'm always thinking about, like, what could have been. Not in like a bad, toxic way of like, oh my God, if things had gone a certain way and the pandemic hadn't happened, my life would be, drastically different, and I would be ahead in so many areas of my life and all of these things. Not really, not particularly. I don't really think of it like that. I think of it more of like, that was kind of the last day, March 14th or whatever. I think it was March 13th or whatever, mid-March. Last time I was ever involved in like an institution of the traditional sense of like going to college. And obviously that'll sort of change, I think, especially with my upcoming plans in August. I'll definitely be back at that point. But 2 years, I got a 2-year break from the traditional school system, the traditional college system, the traditional thing that a 1-year-old kid like myself is supposed to be in. And it was the best thing to ever happen. It was the best thing to ever happen. It's rough, but it was also the best thing to ever happen. I learned so much in so many different areas because of what happened 2 years ago. Not only emotionally, I feel like physically, or not physically, but like emotionally, I've grown. I feel like mentally, I've become a slightly better person, even though people in my life tell me not. I'm joking. I feel like I've become more self-aware, And I feel like I don't give a fuck anymore because 2 years ago, I gave so many shits. This was the problem. Like, I've always felt like my whole life I've let other people's opinions dictate where I go. I was never confident in myself. I still have confidence issues. It's not like I'm some overconfident beast at this point in time. Maybe one day I'll get to that point and y'all can call me out on my bullshit or whatever. But at this point 2 years ago, like every single decision I made, I would question. I would question 80 million times. I would be like, what the fuck is going on? You know, I talked a little bit about my anxiety on the show. That was kind of happening around this point. Um, or not on the show, a couple weeks ago or last week. And so there was a lot of shit going on 2 years ago that I think today, like, I have rectified a lot of those issues and I've had time to like self-reflect and really figure out like where I want to go and what I want to do. And 2 years ago, I think that me would have been proud of where I'm at right now. You know, there are a lot of college kids. I've had a lot of friends of mine who've like looked at me and been like, dude, what are you doing with your life? Like, not in those words, not, I'm paraphrasing, of course, but like I've had a lot of people in college that are like, what are you doing? You're at home, you're not going to school, you're not going to get a job like the rest of us in 2 years. What's up? Like, what are you okay? Like, people have genuinely like asked me questions of that sort. And I've told them like, I'm great. I'm great. Like, yes, I live at home. Is that exactly where I want to be right now at 21? Probably not. You know, when I was 18, I probably would have told you, but at 21, I'm going to be living in a studio apartment in Los Angeles overlooking the fucking Hollywood sign. And like, I'm going to know like 18 models and I'm just going to be a fucking shit. That's what I thought I was. That's what I thought I would be when I was 21, right? I thought I'd be a successful writer, fucking dropped out of school at that point. And just killing it in the world. But I'm 21. I live with my parents. I um am working on my show. I'm working on building this up. I'm working on building a social media career up at some point, hopefully. And that's where I'm at. And maybe 2 years from now, 2 years from when this video is formed, what you can say 4 years ago, the beginning of the pandemic was 4 years ago. Holy shit. Maybe I'll be at a different place in life. That is life. Life changes, life moves on. But I feel like the pandemic really exacerbated a lot of change that was happening in my life and really brought it to the forefront for the first time. You know, it's tough because I feel like I never got a I never got a good closure as to my first college experience, right? Because you met so many people, and you thought you were going to be back in 3 months. That was the mentality back then. It was like, oh shit, it's just going to be like a worst case extended summer break. Like we'll see everybody in the fall, and yeah, and like I didn't really get to say goodbye to a lot of like the people in that chapter of my life that were very important. I haven't seen those people in probably 2.5 years. All of them I haven't seen for almost 3 years. Or sorry, not 3 years, almost 2 years. 2 years. I haven't seen them. I haven't physically seen them. Some of them, all of, actually, I haven't seen all of them, any of them. I haven't physically seen any of them. I've seen a few on FaceTime and phone calls and all that. That definitely happens, but physically haven't seen them. I'm not really particularly super updated on what's going on. Like everyone's busy, everyone's got their own lives. I don't blame anybody in that case, but it's fucking insane that it's been 2 years. And in a lot of ways, I feel like I've kind of shifted one way in terms of my life direction. In a lot of ways, I feel like I've gone forward. And in a lot of other ways, I feel like I've gone backward. But I feel like that's what the pandemic did for everybody is it moved people forward in a lot of different areas and it moved people backward in a lot of different areas. And, you know, figuring out like where you lie right now is what I guess the real essential question to throw that pun out there. But it's been 2 years, man, since that day. I still remember it like it was yesterday. It's I just I think it just hits different for college kids in particular because we were the ones like a lot of us were mass flying across the country, mass flying from city to city, trying to basically just like get out and get back home as fast as possible. Um, mass confusion as to what was going on. I was pretty disconnected from the news at that point in my life, so like I didn't really have like a good grasp as to what was going on in the world. So I thought the virus was very overhyped. I was thinking of it like it would be, I was equating coronavirus at that point to being something along the lines of like Ebola. And I was like all over the place there and everywhere. And it was just like pandemic was like last thing from my mind. And here we are. And I feel like I'm what's weird about my situation is I'm like one of the last ones who's stuck in the pandemic, right? A lot of my friends left quarantine. They went back to school. They've met a lot of, they've probably moved on with their lives, their new apartments, they're upperclassmen in college. They're, almost done. Some of them are even graduating this particular year, just doing amazing stuff, getting job offers, all of these things. I like almost went back where I went to college for a year, came back for 2, and I basically tacked a year on to my college experience. I'm going to graduate in technically 5 years instead of 4, like I had probably previously planned. So it's pretty crazy to think about like where life has gone the last 2 years, and it's when you look at it from a certain standpoint, it's like it's pretty freaking insane. I can't even believe uh where I'm at. But like that's the thing is like it's all in the best ways. It's not in like I can't like oh my gosh like fuck like I can't not believe where I'm at. Like it's literally like wow like this is so unexpected but so like expected in a lot of ways. And I couldn't be more grateful for the opportunities that I've had and just the people that I've been able to strengthen relationships with in the last 2 years, but also the relationships that have kind of dwindled over the last 2 years for various circumstances. I'm grateful for the lessons that I learned in those relationships. I'm grateful for the lessons that I continue to learn in the relationships I'm in now. Whether that be in a friendship or a family context or whatever, it's a new it's new, and it's very it's a chaotic world is what I'll say when you get older things just become more complicated. You start thinking more with your head than you do with your heart, and I think that can definitely cloud a lot of decisions. But that's enough. Okay, this topic is getting too emotional. What the fuck is this? It's supposed to be an after show. We're supposed to have fun. That's not fun. I don't want to just like be a simp all day. But a lot of people have been telling me like, when they DM me and stuff, and I'm so grateful to receive DMs from people saying like, Anuj, like what you're doing is awesome. Like, thank you so much for putting whatever XYZ clip out. Like, keep fucking going. Like, you're really killing it in this industry. I get so many kind messages from like friends of mine, throughout the months, and I don't even mean to say that as like a brag. It's just like people are sweet, and when they see some good stuff and I guess stuff that connects to them, they comment or they talk about it with me, and I really do appreciate that. Like genuinely, I appreciate the fact when like a friend comes up to me like smiling or laughing like, oh, you made my day with that clip. Like that makes my day more than pretty much anyone would ever know. And they're like, dude, I admire you for your work ethic. And that comment always, like when someone comments on my work ethic, I feel shitty for some reason. And I was like, why do I feel this way? And then I was thinking about it the other day, and really it's because I'm a quitter. I'm a quitter. Like honestly, at heart, throughout my life, I'm the biggest fucking quitter I know. I've probably cost my parents a shit ton of money in extracurriculars because I thought I was going to do something and I told them I was going to commit to it, and then I quit. Like I'm the biggest quitter. You name every activity I ever took on in life, nothing stuck. Sports, quit. Tennis, quit. Well, tennis is a sport, but you get the idea. Taekwondo, quit. Saxophone, quit. French horn, quit. Speech and debate, quit. Mock trial, quit. The list goes on. The blog, quit. Writing, quit. Education is a potential career path, quit. I'm the biggest fucking quitter I know. I quit. That's the thing, man. I've gotten to the point in my life where I quit so much that I almost never, I can't quit. If I quit this, I'll look like the biggest fucking idiot on the planet. I can't quit because I quit all the time. That's my default. I'm like, when shit gets hard or like when I stop enjoying something, I'm like, I gotta quit. I gotta just, fuck this. But I get the point where it's like, yo, when you stop enjoying something, like that's definitely a sign to try something new. But I also am the type of person when like shit gets a little hard, I quit. I was that type of person. I feel like I've changed a lot since the last activity that I quit. Um, but you know, I feel like I've defined myself for so long by being this quitter. I've always felt like I was a quitter. And when someone says like you work so hard and your work ethic is there, you can do it, I don't feel that. I've never felt that because I've always felt like I'm a fucking quitter because I felt like the kid in fifth. I felt like I still feel like Anuj from 2013 who dropped the alto saxophone because it was just too boring and didn't take into account that, his mom and dad probably dropped a good amount of money renting that thing and just wanted you to be happy, and you just quit because you weren't happy. You quit because you personally didn't want to do something, right? Maybe I go back to me in Taekwondo where when push-ups got a little hard, I just said, I can't do it and I'm going to quit and never show up, right? I just That's my thing, man. That's where I go with this podcast. That's where I sit here. That's why I sit here today and talk to you guys about it, because I quit for so often in my life. Every single activity I could possibly think of, I've, shat the bed. Discipline wise, I'm a naturally extremely lazy person. You have it up to me. All I would do all day is sit in bed with popcorn and Cheez-Its, watch movies, and I would be perfectly content. I would be perfectly fucking content if that was my life. But also, I have this innate drive in me to do something. I need to do something, but I'm a huge slacker. And so I have days where I completely slack off and I lie in bed or I lie on the couch in my pajamas and don't do jack and just watch a bunch of TV. And then I have days where I'm like, I need to be hyper productive and get stuff done from 5 o'clock in the morning to the time my head hits the pillow at whatever time that may be. But honestly, like I'm in this stage of life where I'm like, I can't quit anymore. I've quit too much to the point where I feel like my natural instinct is to quit. And I'm self aware enough to be like, yo, you shouldn't quit when stuff gets hard. And I do give myself a lot of credit for sticking with it, for sticking with this, because I could have very well quit when the first 4 episodes started of the Changavi show started getting single digit views, when my view counts just took a rock bottom after shifting. I could have quit before I even got on TikTok. I could have quit. I could have quit so many points, but I haven't yet. And listen, it's still very, very early in this journey. I feel like I'm at the point in my life where I need to prove to myself that I'm not a quitter. And the way to do that is to see this thing all the way through. I cannot, if I ever like quit this, like I could never live with that regret, because I've quit so many things and I'm like, oh, like maybe I just quit because it was hard. And I have that experience in me, and it's like there's anything that I put my mind to from now on, from like I said this, from like pretty much the age of 19, anything I put my mind to, I'm just gonna stick. I'm gonna stick with it. If I want, oh, you want a creative career? I'm gonna stick with that for the rest of my life. I'm gonna be 75 in a fucking vegetative state in coma, and I could just be like, nah, like I don't care. I'm not gonna quit. That is my mentality that I have now. Is I've quit so many times. I'm such a natural quitter to the point where now I'm just like, I cannot. If I do quit, I look like a fucking idiot. I can't do that anymore. And so I have this weird kind of thought process where it's like, I've quit so much that I will never quit again. And that's pretty much how I feel in regards to quitting and in regards to everything in that sense. Yeah. But naturally, but like when people comment and they say those things like, you have the work ethic, you have the discipline, I really just want to respond back like, no, I don't. In reality, what I do have is this inquisitive curiosity and intense enthusiasm for like 2 months, usually like intense enthusiasm for a while. And then I lose track because I moved on to the next thing, or shit got really hard and I decided that I just needed a break from it. And I can't do that anymore. I'm at the stage of life where I'm like, yo, I cannot revert back to quitting anymore. if this thing goes to shit, we go to shit with it. I need to see this through. I need to make sure I see this Changavi show all the way through. Changavi show is Central Question Podcast, my podcasting career, my career of talking in front of the camera, all the way through to the very end. Whatever the end that may be, I just need to see it through. It needs to, I can't give up because it's hard. It's fucking bullshit. I did that too many times before in my life. Piano, French horn, Taekwondo. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to quit. Nah. Okay. Enough about me quitting stuff and reflecting on life and all that. Listen, I'm going to be more selfish. It's weird because I'm in this weird stage where it's like I'm starting to realize the people that watch my content, and it's just like it's this thing that's in the back of your head, but it's not really, because you think like, oh, I'm fucking just me and it's nothing's gonna happen and blah blah blah. But my teachers watch this. I don't know if any of you like follow your teachers on Instagram or on Facebook or any of these things, because you know you had great teachers in high school and fantastic faculty that you just wanted to keep in touch with throughout your life. And I went ahead and obviously like friended all my favorite teachers from high school, and you know occasionally they'll message me on my birthday and whatnot. But they also friend me. They're also like my Facebook friends and my Instagram, and they follow me on Instagram. And I get so worried sometimes because I literally put up like TikToks that are like, fuck high school, fuck college, I hate the system, let me just be a punk rocker and a goth king and just fucking right? Like I feel so bad. I feel so bad because what these teachers know me as, what most of my teachers know me as, professors, teachers, whoever may see this, what they know me as is they know me as the fucking kid who is just this like the sweet kid who would answer the questions and be like, Miss Ritchie, is there more homework? Or like, what am I supposed to do for an analyzing QPA on page 78 of Huckleberry Finn? Like, that's what they think I am. That's what Miss Ritchie thinks I am. Shout out to Miss Ritchie, by the way. Mr. Davey thinks I'm just the history bowl kid that just sat in his class and was kind of nerdy. Right? They don't see this unfiltered side of me where I'm just like, fuck you, every sentence, right? But now they do. Now they could very well see every single episode. They have access to it. They watch. I'm sure some of them have seen my TikTok clips. Some of them have commented and stuff. And I feel bad. I feel like the image of myself is being destroyed, right? Like they're probably like, oh my God, what is this? Who's this beast we've taught? Like he's a terror. Like he's just terrorizing the internet. What do we do? What have we done? I'm just like, wow. I that just shocks me. Like sometimes when I'm just like when I think about it of like my teachers watch this, I'm like, oh God, I need to be more professional. Like like this after show can be like really well researched, and like I don't know what to say because they're gonna get mad at me. Like I don't know. I feel really weird when I think about who watches this. And so like my mentality when it's come to like building content is just like don't think about it. Like don't fucking think, because otherwise if I fucking think about who's watching my stuff, I'm gonna get so in my head. Because like if I say something wrong, right, in a historical event or something when I'm explaining it on the Changavi show, and one of my history teachers is watching, I'm like, oh shit. They could very well comment and be like, actually, Anuj, you're just spitting opinion and you're wrong. My history teachers have literally seen me post videos saying Martin Luther King is not a true hero. That is wow. Like they were probably like, yeah, we're canceling him from fucking our high school. This guy's an idiot. What did we teach him in school? But I mean, I don't know. It's fun in a lot of ways because I think they see a new side of me, and I think that's kind of cool to like see who the person really is outside the classroom, but also at the same time like, yo, my high school teachers hopefully they don't feel shitty that they've taught this kid who sits in a chair in his mom's basement, according to Jen Paraloni on TikTok, and gives basement commentary that's baseless and substanceless. So whatever. That stupid gulp of air happened again. But my teachers watch this, and if my teachers are watching this, I just want to say, let me give you a little message real quick. First of all, hi. I hope you all are doing well. Every single one of you, middle school, high school, elementary school, college, whatever level you're at. I'm here. Hi, I'm Anuj. Um, yeah, this is my podcast. I hope that you guys enjoy it. This is the after show, so this is a little more unprofessional and stuff, and I swear a lot, and I'm very unfiltered with my takes. But I hope that I do use a lot of the skills, particularly that my high school teachers taught me to like outline my podcasts and like think through things in my head and critically think. So I really do respect um all of them for teaching me my skills that I have as a podcaster. And if I ever make it, it's because you guys taught me all the foundations. So, yeah, moment of gratitude. Thank you, high school teachers. And now let's move the fuck on because nobody gives a shit about Anuj, okay? Can we just talk about something fucking different for once? Besides you. You're so fucking annoying, Anuj. Okay, fine. Can we talk about Deepti and Shake? Have I talked to you guys about this? Have I talked to you? Listen, Love is Blind has been going hella viral on Netflix recently. Hella viral. And it was kind of a big thing during COVID season 1, the whole concept of like couples meeting blindly rather than like in person, like your typical dating show where they just meet in person and it's all of them in a house and they're all horn dogged up and they just fuck each other a bunch until, the last people are standing and they win $100,000, whatever, blah blah blah. Yeah, that's not this show. Love is Blind is really different. So basically, like all the couples, the men and the women are all separated. They like go through different pods, basically speed date, find who their favorites are, and then they pick their favorites. And they can either propose or become the girlfriend. But they have to propose actually by the end to like their favorite person, and they say yes. And you kind of have like 90 days to sort of decide if this person is compatible or not with your needs. And they're on Love is Blind 2, of course. Netflix listens to the show and they were like, we need more Indian representation. And they were like, Anuj, we know you hate Never Have I Ever. Changavi show, Chang Gang, we know you hate them. So you know what we're going to do? You know what we're going to do? We are going to bring in Indian people to Love is Blind, which is a white dating show for the most part. And they did. And they did. To their credit, they brought in 2 Indians, 1 man, 1 woman, Deepthi and Abhishek. And they ended up being the talk of the season. So let's talk about Deepthi and Shake for a second, okay? So basically what ended up happening, I'm going to give you the long story short. Love is Blind spoilers in here. So if you're watching Love is Blind and you're actually taking the show seriously, like you're not supposed to, feel free to fast forward through this part. But basically, Deepthi and Shake, they meet in the blind pods and they really connect over their Indian heritage and all of these various things that go on in their lives. And you find out that both of them have never dated an Indian girl. And so it's like, or an Indian person, and they're like, oh my God, Abhishek, the only person I've ever dated is like a blonde white dude. And Abhishek's like, yeah, bro, the only person I've ever dated, Deepti, is like blonde hair, blue eyes, fat ass, dude. And then they're like, oh my God, we have so much in common. Yeah. And then like Abhishek's like, will you marry me, Deepti? And he does this like very so basically like they talk about in the pods. So Abhishek and Deepti, when they were like blind dating, we're basically talking about how like Indian culture is so fucked up that the man has to or the woman has to touch the feet of the man, and it's like this patriarchal tradition, which it is. And so Abhishek was like, fuck that, I'm gonna touch the feet of the woman. And they have this makeout session, and Netflix zooms in on Abhishek just like making out with her. And then literally 5 seconds after, he's like, I'm not physically attracted to Deeps. Like, she's a great person, but I'm not physically attracted to her. And everyone's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you were just grabbing her ass on national television like 2 days before, but okay, bro. And then like they go to Mexico and they're all the Love is Blind cast is there. And then Abhishek gets a little tipsy and he starts talking to his cast members, and he's like, bro, I don't think Deeps is that hot, dude. The only thing I see with Deepti is like she looks like my aunt, and he starts saying like all these really fucked up things about Deepti and the way she looks. And Deepti's not a bad looking human being. Like and anyway, like regardless, you shouldn't be saying a woman looks like your aunt, like particularly if it's someone you're gonna marry. Like red flag already. And just red flag in general. Like, you shouldn't be talking about women like that. In my opinion, he also said like a bunch of other suspect comments. Like, there was this whole tension brewing, and she didn't really know about it, about his physical things, and basically it all came to light at the end when Abhishek was like, Deepti, I can't marry you because like I'm not physically attracted to you. And then Deepti's like, okay, deuces. And then like that was the end of the Love is Blind, Deepti and Shake romance. That just changed South Asian representation forever. But it's been going around in the South Asian community. A lot of people have been talking about it. A lot of people have been like, Abhishek is, just the classic brown boy. And that's such a negative representation for the South Asian community. And like I saw this one guy go on TikTok to the extent of like, Abhishek is going to continue to like, or Abhishek or Shake, which is what he calls himself. Shake is going to continue to just haunt the minds of girls everywhere, and they're going to think that brown guys are all like him and all this shit. First of all, like, bro, I love you, but like nobody watches, not that many people watch Love is Blind, okay? But second of all, I think Shake is actually a positive representation for the South Asian community. And let me explain why. Not in like the traditional sense of like he's such a good guy and like all brown boys should look up to him. No, fuck no. If you look up to Shake, I'm like, bro, you let's not be friends. He's just not a very good person. And he like defended it on the reunion, but that's besides the he defended like his whole all his actions on the reunion, but that's not the point. But Abhishek is just this dude who, what was I gonna say? Fuck. I forgot. Let me think. Let me think. Deepti, look, listen. Abhishek is like he's cool. Okay, like in terms of the fact that like his whole like villain arc is cool for the South Asian community in that it teaches. I think it can also have the opposite effect of what people were thinking. Like, oh, everyone was like, everyone's gonna think brown boys are like this, that, and the other. Nah, I think brown boys can learn from Abhishek. I think brown boys are like, oh, that's what I look like. Fuck, I shouldn't be looking like that because whether you like it or not, there's probably more Abhisheks out there than we'd like to think. And I think that Abhishek is almost a cautionary tale rather than he is bad representation. And you need cautionary tales in every representation. It doesn't matter if you're Mexican, doesn't matter if you're Indian, doesn't matter if you're Guyanese, doesn't matter if you're fucking Brazilian. You need caution. There's cautionary tales in every culture. And Abhishek is just the cautionary tale for the Indian culture. Brown boys can look at Abhishek when they watch Love is Blind and be like, oh shit. Like I should no, that's not the move. That is not the move. And they can look at Deepti and be like, she's so nice and so patient and all of these things. And what like you're treating like that guy is treating her like that. Like, yo, if that's how I look, like it can lead to self-evaluation, is my point. And I don't think Shake is cool. Okay, if that's what you're trying to tell me, like I'm not gonna sit here and defend this guy because he's some brown boy. Because mostly he kind of reminds me of a fucking tool. To be honest. That being said, like I just don't like reality dating shows in general. So like Deepti could be like the nicest person. So like that's why like I just imitated her. And I don't know. Love is Blind is stupid in my opinion. I think it's a dumb show. I think all love shows that are on TV are pretty stupid. It's in that category of like Too Hot to Handle and Are You the One and all these crappy shows, The Bachelorette. They're just not good. They're not good. And I think the shows in general put this wrong idea out there of like love. Love has to look a certain way and you have to like get married and all of these things. Like love is I think like the way that love in modern society works is that love is so different. Love can be seen in a variety of different aspects. Love can be seen in a variety of different relationships. Love can be seen in like different structures of marriage. It doesn't have to all look the same. And I feel like these dating shows almost do a disservice to love because they don't portray all of the elements of love. You're also not forgetting the the LGBTQ community and the lack of representation they have on these dating shows as well. That being said, Deepti and Shake, people are calling them a terrible South Asian representation, and that, oh my god, like brown boys everywhere are screwed for life because everyone's gonna look at Abhishek Chatterjee and be like, that's what all brown men are like. We have to avoid a cancelled. Canceled. No one cares, bro. No one cares. The fact is, maybe 2% of the population watches Love Is Blind seriously. And if you are a part of that 2%, I'm sorry, you're a red flag. Like, why would you watch Love Is Blind seriously? It's a stupid ass show. It's just like Indian matchmaking. Everyone was like, oh my god, this is such bad representation for the Indian culture. They're going to think we're such fools. I'm like, dude, 99% of people watched Indian matchmaking because it was a fucking joke. The other 1% were either A, uncultured white people from Des Moines, Iowa. Sorry, Des Moines, Iowa. I could have replaced any other white town, Anchorage, Alaska, etc. Sorry to the town of Anchorage, by the way. Or B, people who are just stupid and think that that shit is real. You have to just sit here and be like, yo, half this shit is a joke. Okay. It's stupid. Not everyone. It's like Prad from Indian matchmaking. A lot of people gave him shit. And like, yeah, deservedly so. He's kind of an ass and he's stupid. But like, dude, all these people are like, it's a reality show. Like, you can't take half of what they say seriously. It's all edited and it's all, made to look a certain way and all of these things. So don't take yourself too seriously about South Asian representation being highly affected by Shake. Okay. It's not going to make or break the game here. And I'm saying this as someone who studies South Asian representation at a pretty extensive level. Abhishek is not going to break South Asian representation, man. I'll tell you that much, especially for the boys. Okay, there are plenty of good brown boys out there. I'm not just saying that because I'm brown. They're everywhere. They're really cool. And if you believe that every brown boy is like Abhishek, then maybe you shouldn't be with brown boys because they're not all like Shake. Shake is a little fucking idiot. And that's all I'll say about Abhishek and Deepthi. Listen, we got quite a few more topics here, and I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. I've been having a lot of moments of anxiety recently. And what does that mean, Anuj? What the fuck does that mean? Moments of anxiety. Of course, we all have moments of anxiety. And I'm not here to talk about like my mental health or any of that because that was the last episode. I guess I've been having like slight moments of anxiety in that I'm always worried about you guys. I'm always worried about the show. I'm always worried about the two people that have gotten to this point and are listening to this part of the show. I think as a content creator, you just have natural anxiety built within you. Like, am I on top of it? Am I following on about certain issues? Am I making content that's appropriate for everybody? Am I doing the certain things that I'm supposed to keep up with appearances of the podcast? I guess those are the moments of anxiety I'm feeling. But here's the thing. Those moments of anxiety, what I mean by that is like I also study a lot of sad shit. Okay. With this podcast, like especially the Changavi show, not necessarily the after show. The after show is fun. I get to sit here, shoot the shit, talk with you guys. The Changavi show, it's definitely mentally taxing because a lot of the world news segments are just negative. I really try to look for the positive side of things. I know it's been very hard recently with, Ukraine and Russia and all of these, really traumatic, terrible things happening. But there's a lot of, I really do try to look for the positive spin on things. I try to look for the positive side rather than just the negative, what makes your heart beat, what makes clicks go up, and what makes things trend. Like Ukraine and Russia is such a sad conflict when you look at it. And this week, not to spoil too much, but on the Changavi show, we're looking at, I'm doing a topic on Yemen, which is, my God, it is so fucking sad. It's one of the saddest stories I've covered so far on the show. I want you guys to listen to it because it is a story that absolutely everybody needs to know, but is also a story that just makes you want to pull your brains out because it's like, what are we doing? Like, what is happening? Why is the world this way? But I think it's one that everybody needs to know. And that leads me to my next section, which is like moments of gratitude. See, I have those moments of anxiety where I'm just like so anxious about the state of the world, in that like I do like I like to think that like I know the world pretty good, or pretty well. Sorry, Miss Ritchie, if you're watching this, I apologize. Anyway, and Miss Hersman and all my English teachers out there. Listen, I have so many moments of gratitude every day. I mean, the fact that I get to wake up and I have like and just I get to study the Yemen story and I don't get to live it is a mere moment of gratitude, if that makes sense. There are so many people out there in the world that have it so shitty, that have it so much worse than I do. I have such a great fucking life. Like the more I think about it, um, I get to live at home. I have parents that semi want me home. Like 80% of the time, maybe less, maybe less. Nah, I think a little less. Maybe it's like 30% of the time. Um, I have a loving family. I have really good friends. I have a lot of things in that regard that I can't complain about. Too hard, you know? So like when issues get super in your head and super like narrative based and all of these things and you start just overthinking, it's just like take a second and have a moment of gratitude. And I was having like this moment of anxiety and this moment of gratitude at the same time yesterday because I was in the city and I was just thinking about all of the things I had to do when I came home. I was like, oh my God, like I have to do this for the pod and like this and homework and I have a presentation the next day. And oh my God, fuck, this is so hard. And then at the same time, like I was just having this immense moment of gratitude, like, holy shit, San Francisco is beautiful. And I was like staring at the Transamerica building, and like two sides of my brain were just eating each other alive. And I was like sitting there, like sipping on water, just like looking at the Transamerica building and just like thinking how beautiful the city of San Francisco is and how much I want to live there when I grow up, or not grow up, but maybe in a couple of years. And I was also just like, having so many fucking heart attacks at the same time based on like what I needed to do and just like all the sad shit going on in the world. But I feel like that's the brain of a Gen Z person is just there's 18 million different things happening at the same time and you have to fucking deal with all of it. That is what it is. And I love it. I love it, but I also hate it in so many ways. So there's just moments of anxiety and moments of gratitude. I think we all have to have both, but so many things I'm grateful for. I mean, I can go on and on and on, but it's not Thanksgiving. It's not fucking November. Why do we got to do that? Content lurkers. Dude, I hate you guys. I hate content lurkers, man. And there's so many of you. There's going to be like 45 on this. I guarantee you. Okay? It's the same fucking people. They view every single one of my stories. Every single one of them. I kid you not. They're always looking. They're always lurking. They're like clicking on my story consciously, knowing that it's fun, knowing that it's something that they like, but they never send me any engagement. They never comment. They never share their thoughts. They never do shit. All they do is sit there and lurk. They lurk. They're like, viewed, consumed content. I refuse to communicate with the creator. They don't engage. They don't engage. How much do I have to work for your engagement, bro? How much do I have to work for it? There's so many people who just sit there and fucking lurk. And I know that they lurk, at least like the people, you know, who view the story once, twice, whatever, like on my Instagram, cool. Like I don't really care. Whatever. Like you're just inactive on IG. That's amazing. Like I'm cool. That's your life. I have no issue with that. But there are hella motherfuckers who are just in the freaking story viewed section every time, every TikTok, every fucking question of the night, everything. There's just nothing. They don't comment on anything. Nothing. But they're still lurking. They just lurk. They're fucking lurkers. And I hate lurkers. Just like if you're not gonna like consume the content like effectively, like why don't you just like not click on my story? I mean, I don't know. Okay, listen, like obviously I appreciate the fact that you're viewing. Like DM me privately. I feel like I make it very clear. I'm like, listen, you can talk to me about anything. You don't have to like sit there and just like you can disagree with me all you want. I just hate the lurkers who just like sit there because it's just like you're just a passive consumer. You're not doing anything. Like I like the people who like despite the fact that maybe an opinion might be controversial, they share it. Or, you know, despite the fact they may disagree with me, they have the guts to like, I've had so many people like who I haven't talked to for like 7-8 years, like who DM me like, bro, like I disagree with the premise of this question. Or like, I disagree with the premise of your TikTok. And I have like family friends who come at me in my stories, like, bro, like what this TikTok clip made no sense or anything. Like, talk to me. Don't just lurk. The fucking lurkers just hurt my heart, dude. Stop lurking. Stop. Freaking watch my shit. Please. You guys lurk way too much, bro. I don't like lurkers. But okay, fan base name real quick. I got to do this fast. because I got 2 more topics I want to talk about, and those are like my hot take sections of the day. Um, my new fan base name. Listen, you guys voted. We had a couple different options on the table. I gave you guys the opportunity to suggest some fan names. I got some really nice ones. The Chungroovies. The Chungroovies was fucking rad. I love that name. It's like it's time to get Chungroovy up in here. It's like you're in 1985 and like you're DJing the skate rink, like bow 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 down. It's time to get Chungroovy down 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 down. Right, like that's hella fun. I like that name a lot. You know who suggested that? My boy Kevin. Shout out Kevin. Kevin, Kevin is not a fucking content lurker like the other ones, like the other 98% of you that just will lurk on this TikTok when it comes out. You're gonna be like, "Oh, you're so mean." But you know what Kevin did? He suggested the Chungroovies. Did you suggest the Chungroovies? No, the Chungroovies is a fucking great name, and I'm probably gonna use that as a fan base name. But unfortunately, not a lot of people liked it. There were a lot of people. There was like 20% of the people who were like, "Ew, like why do you even want a name for your fan base? Why do you even exist on the Changavi show? Like why go away?" Like there was literally 20% of people who were just like, "Stop." And then hella people, the winner. Because I totaled on both polls. I do polls on my personal Instagram. I do polls on my Changavi show Instagram. Totaled all the polls, and the winner is Chang Gang, baby. Chang Gang. What up, Chang Gang? I love that name. People since high school have called me that. I just appreciate it. I like it a lot. It's a tie back to the old times, to the past. A lot of the people who voted on that were all high school people, and for the most part, a little bit of college people too, but a lot of high school people. Chang Gang, I love that name. I've been using it since like I was a sophomore, junior. I use it in some of my blogs too. If you go back and read those as well, it's a lot of fun. I like that name. It's a good time. Yeah, I dig it. Chang Gang. Chungoons was one that was suggested by a friend of mine. It's not the best in my opinion. But he really seemed to like it, and he wanted me to put it in the votes, and we did, and it didn't win. So fuck off. Now Chungoons is good. Chungoon Squad. That was another name suggested by somebody, where they took the Chungoons and just made it Chungoon Squad. Jackie Changavis. That was another one suggested by that same person. I thought that was pretty good. I was trying to combine something with Alex Morgan's and Bays or Alex Morgan and Anuj. So here's the thing, like me and Alex Morgan would never be a couple because we'd have the worst ship name of all times. It'd be like Annex. That would be our ship name. Annex. Sounds like Amex. The fuck? Like I hate it. It's like on your Annex credit card, you can use anything. Annex. Right? Like it sounds like a fucking half-made android. I hate it. Yeah, me and Alex Morgan will never be a couple. But yeah, my new fan base name is the Chang Gang. What up, Chang Gang? Y'all are part of the Chang Gang. But I'm going to use everything interchangeably, to be honest. So it'll just be like Chungoons, my Chungroovies. Are you ready to groove? I love it. Chungroovies is like my personal like new fucking favorite thing of all time. I'm gonna just drop a Chungroovies bomb like every time here and there, just to like fucking make people happy. Because that name just makes me happy. Like, are you ready to get Chungroovy? I love it. I love it. Okay, anyway, I got 2 more topics to go, and then we will get out of here because it is late. I have to go back to this because on, I think it was episode 21 of the Changavi show, I kind of talked about how Vlodomir, or not Vladimir, that was way recent, but I think on episode 21 of the Changavi show, I talked about heroes, and I talked about how history defines a lot of people who have, history is written by people who define heroes and who make storybooks. And it doesn't work that way. There's oftentimes not a lot of storybook narratives. And I've gone on the record the last couple weeks and said like Zelensky's a hero and all of these things to kind of tie it back to Russia, Ukraine. Vladimir Zelensky, the prime minister of Ukraine, I've, commended him on his leadership and all of these things and really gone after him and all of, or really just like gone and applauded him and gone behind his back. So I've done a lot of self-reflecting the last 4 days. I haven't really consumed a lot of Russia, Ukraine content. I've consumed
my fair amount. I have the people that I have my sources, and I go to those. But I'm also like, constantly. I'm not constantly checking like I was before. But here's the thing, bro. I took a step back for a second. I took a step back. I was reading a lot of American media coverage, about the situation in Ukraine. And the more and more I was reading, the more and more I realized something. I was like, oh my God, we're seeing the same shit that was happening with Martin Luther King happen with Volodymyr Zelensky in real time. I was like, I fell for it. I fell for it. I low key did. Listen, let me give you my full nuanced opinion. I think Zelensky is fantastic. I think his leadership throughout this whole situation has been really, really good. Here's where I kind of defer. I think a lot of what's going on with Volodymyr Zelensky is super exaggerated. I think it's super exaggerated, and I think here's why. There are a lot of quotes that Zelensky has said that have gone viral. Obviously, the one quote being like, "Oh, I don't need ammunition. I don't need a ride. I need ammunition." So that turns out, I was doing some research. A lot of fact checkers have said that quote basically was embellished by an American translator who kind of fudged up the words to make it look a lot more hot takey and headliney to get more clicks on their headline. To get more clicks on headlines and all of that stuff. So apparently Zelensky didn't say anything. He said something along those lines, but not in quite the punctual kind of straightforward fashion that it was made to believe that he said it. Zelensky has also, and the Ukraine, you also have to think about where Vladimir Zelensky is coming from, right? He's literally in a situation where his whole entire country is being invaded. There's like no hope for his countrymen and for his people. And you're sitting here and he's sitting there and he has no option but to just act as desperate as possible because he's like, yo, listen, my life is in danger, all of these things. And like, yes, Zelensky's life to an extent is in danger. But the American media makes it seem like he's trying to be assassinated every other fucking day of the week. Like, I'm like, bro, listen, I love you, Vladimir, but I don't necessarily think that his there was a video of his officials just going out in the middle of in the middle of central Kiev, like grabbing coffee from the coffee shop, and there was like they like IG lived it. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't necessarily believe that Vladimir Putin wants to take out Zelensky just yet because I think because I don't think so. And I think the American media is making it seem like Zelensky is target numero uno and like everything that he does is like just anti like this, that, and the other. I think there's some over exaggerated headlines, and here's my point. I don't necessarily think it's this straightforward thing of like Vladimir Zelensky is this ultimate hero and like we need to just be his fucking martyr and all of these things. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. He's a good guy. Vladimir Zelensky seemingly by all accounts is a good dude. But a lot of the headlines that are coming out of the United States of America, we need to watch out because they're painting this guy to be like a martyr. And in reality, you have to think about where Zelensky is coming from when he's saying a lot of what he's saying because he is trying to get the Western powers to help him. And he's willing to say whatever, he is willing to do whatever it takes to get them on his side. And so he's using the Western media. That's why he's on press tours constantly. He's on CNN, ABC News, every single news outlet, just trying to get the attention of Western powers. And I really do believe that the American media is trying to portray Zelensky as this hero within the storybook of the Russia-Ukraine invasion. And I'm not saying Vladimir Putin, I believe in this case, is obviously the obvious villain, but I don't think Vladimir Zelensky is the number one hero martyr individual. I think yes, he's he's done amazing things with his leadership, but also it's good to critically think about what the media is saying and what the message is and where it's coming from and the sentiment of it rather than just blindly follow it. Because I was for a long time just being like, oh, New York Times, this, that, and the other. And I sit here and I acknowledge that mistake. But here's the thing. I'm not saying Vladimir Zelensky isn't a hero. I'm sure he is. But we should think about where the media is coming from. We should think about why he's saying the things he's saying. We should also think about the fact that American translators are using the fact that Zelensky's English isn't great and he says a lot of his speeches in Ukrainian and Russian, and they're basically American translators are fudging up the lines that he's saying to make them sound more perfunct and more headliney. and clickbaity. And that's what it's come down to. That's what it's coming down to. American media isn't necessarily on the side of the consumer here. They're on the side of, oh, what's going to get us clicks? Ooh, what's going to make us relevant? Ooh, what's going to make us money? That's what media comes down to. It's all money at the end of the day. They don't give a shit. That's why they don't report on Yemen, which is what I'm going to talk about next week. I don't want to give too much away. They don't report on fucking Yemen. They don't give a fuck about Ethiopia. Do you know who Nadia Murad is? Do you know? Sorry, my Wi-Fi is fucked for like randomly. Do you know who Nadia Murad is? Nadia Murad won a freaking Nobel Peace Prize. No one knows who the fuck she is. And she's gone through a lot. She's gone through a fuck ton. And I don't want to like reveal necessarily all of that because there's going to be a show one day where I talk all about Nadia Murad because she's a true hero. In my opinion. In my humble opinion. Okay. I got one more topic to talk about and then we're going to get out of here. I think Barack Obama is tremendously overrated. Yep, I said it. I said it, liberals. Barack Obama is completely overrated. Why is Barack Obama overrated? Well, on the countless amounts of policy decisions that I could go through, here's the elephant in the room with Barack Obama, okay? Let's be honest. What does Barack Obama have that the other 55 presidents of the United States don't? He's black. He's black. Ladies and gentlemen, Barack Obama is one of the most overrated presidents in the United States, and he was one of the most fairly covered presidents of the United States because of the fact that he's black. I genuinely believe that there was some sort of racial bias there in terms of in terms of the way that Americans view his presidency. I really do believe that. Barack Obama is cool in pop culture. Why? Because he's black. What is pop culture dominated by? African Americans. But that's not even besides the point. Why is Barack Obama cool? Because young people like him, because he's hip, because he's cool, because there's an elephant in the room there, guys. There's an elephant in the freaking room because unfortunately, like I think Barack Obama is as well liked as he is because the media covered him extremely fairly due to the fact that he was black and the media didn't want to necessarily get super crushed by it. I think Obama, in my opinion, and this is a really pretty uneducated take because I haven't done very much research into it, but in my initial kind of brain processes, I really do believe that Barack Obama is an incredibly overrated president. I think he didn't really do anything that he said he was going to do. He didn't cause the sweeping change that everyone expected that he was going to cause. He was a representative. He represented the idea of change. He represented the idea of hope. He spoke beautifully. He's an incredible orator. One of the best public speakers of our time. I will always say that Barack Obama is up there. He's a great orator, and that helps his case with the public because you can, if you say things beautifully and you're able to deliver things in a nice art form, people are like, oh my God, he knows what he's talking about, right? I'm not the best orator. So people look at me and they're like, you're in your mom's basement and you just deserve to die. And I'm like, okay, cool. But like people look at Barack Obama and he says that same thing to me. He'd be like, Anuj, I firmly believe, according to the American people, that we can structure a way around your demise to make sure that you live in the basement that was built by the forefathers of your mother. Right? They basically said the same thing, just in like old English. I'm a master. No, but I genuinely do believe that to a certain extent that Barack Obama is overrated. And it's not his fault. It's not his fault. I want to make that very clear. I'm not trying to be racist or anything, okay? So don't try to cancel me. But I think being the first African American president did give him some sort of leeway in a lot of ways. It gave him a card of like, he crossed an identity border. Like we can give him a pass on a lot of things. Listen, Obama did good. He did some good things. He did some bad things. But at the same time, like troops still remain in Iraq and Afghanistan. Financial crisis wise, did any legislation really get done? Debatable. The Affordable Care Act was a moderate success at best, a failure at worst. I mean, depending on what political party you're in, you can look at it like that. He did kill bin Laden. That's there. But I think overall, like Barack Obama was like a middle tier president and he got 2 terms. I mean, because he was seen as cool by young people because, he was seen as cool by like young millennials who were like, "Oh my God, Barack Obama! Like he's the woke candidate. Like we should all vote for him." And why did people want to vote for him for a lot of large? Why did a large majority of people want to vote for Barack Obama? Because I mean, America is trending to become a more majority, a more minority majority country, and also Barack Obama is a minority, and that helped his case. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Listen, take with that what you will, but I really do have that belief in my heart, and I think to a certain extent that Barack Obama was overrated because of his race, and isn't really looked at for the policies that actually happened and for the politics that he actually put into place. I'm not saying I hate Barack Obama. He seems like a really good dude at heart, but I can't, obviously can't make that judgment because I've never met him, but it's good to question it. It's good to question the fact that, like, how much do you think that race plays a role in the way that we view specific politicians? AOC being one of them, Barack Obama, the big names. I'm talking about specifically the big names because there are a lot of Republican and progressive senators and liberal senators that we don't know and can't name off the top of our heads because, they just work in the Senate and they're just kind of there, but we don't really know what they do. But Barack Obama, I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay, but that's the end of my show, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate every single one of you that stayed here till the very end. If you guys like the after show, feel free to hit the like button. If you are on YouTube, hit the subscribe button as well. Make sure to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, at the Changavi Show, everywhere, even on Twitter, even though I don't really post there that often. But if you guys enjoyed the content, feel free to hit the follow button on all the socials, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, hit the follow button on Spotify. Feel free, if you're on Apple Podcasts, leave me that 5-star review. 5 stars, 5 estrellas only. But that's it. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate all of you. I'm very tired, so I'm gonna go to bed. And this was a lot of fun. So I hope you don't take my talks. I hope you don't take my rants that seriously. But the Obama thing is just, I'm just thinking about that. And I was trying to really just show you guys like what I was thinking about in my head. But this is Anuj Changavi signing off from the Bay Area. Niners and the Warriors both repping. Signing off from the Bay, from the parents' house, saying goodnight. Changavi Show, Changavi After Show 13 in the books. All right. Peace.